Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast. Today is the 1st of June, Wednesday, June 1, 2022. 5 months are behind us in this crazy 2022 market. I am pleased and honored to be joined by Becky Alley, top 1% of all originators in the nation. Good morning, Becky.
Hey, good morning, everyone, and happy Pride Month. Whee!
Yay, snap. Give the snaps, Becky. Do what you do. Snaps. Also with us today, Mr. Harvey Freed, host of the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, along with Becky Alley for the last, Harvey, we've been doing that show for what? Is this our 23rd year?
30 years, Harry. I actually talked to an agent today that never heard of the show, but they said that they just got into real estate, so we'll help them out.
Well, there you go. Well, welcome, Harvey. Good morning. And also joining us, our special guest, Realtor Andrew Hannigan Mueller from the Good Company Realty, part of the Jim Schaefer team in Royal Oak, Michigan. Andrew, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's Andrew.
Yeah, you got it. Hey, check this out, everybody. We're going to get right into it. The market has been crazy. And I know you remember, John. I know you remember, Becky. Andrew, today is one of those watershed moments.
Mm-hmm.
Back on January 19th, 2022, on this podcast, it's not only documented, it's been recorded for history's sake and history purposes. I said mortgage rates will never be the same again in the history of history. So I'm going to make a proclamation today, Andrew.
Okay.
We're going to get right into it right now. I'm going to tell you this, that on June 1st, 2022, that interest rates will continue to go up, not only for 2022, but the beginning of 2023. So with that, Andrew, what's going on with home inventory levels from your perspective? And what is the Jim Schaefer team talking about inventory levels for the rest of 2022?
Absolutely. We're definitely seeing a lot more inventory pop up, which has been great. But there's definitely still a bunch of bidding wars out there. I have clients everywhere from 100,000 to 900,000 right now. And I'd say definitely between that 1 to 350 price point, it's definitely still pretty crazy. There's still multiple offers on those houses. So it's just, there's more opportunity, there's more inventory out there, but it's still just as nuts. In terms of what is like Jim Schaefer and our team doing to help get our clients into homes, is that what you're kind of asking?
No, I'm asking you about the inventory. I'm asking you, we'll talk about that, but I want to know from your perspective, are you seeing more inventory come on the market?
Yeah, absolutely. There's more inventory, just not enough yet. I still have more buyers than I do have houses for them. So
wonderful. Okay, Becky, that's great news then, right? That's great news. We've been hearing that the inventory levels have been tapering off. We've been hearing that there aren't enough homes on the market. Andrew just said that he's seeing more come on the market. So that is great for all of us, isn't it?
Yeah, you can definitely tell that there has been a little bit of a bump in inventory over the past week because there's more accepted offers on my desk. If there's more accepted offers on my desk, that means there's more accepted purchase agreements on everyone's desk right now, which is a beautiful thing for our buyers, right? I do think that what he was saying, though, that higher price point, people are starting to hesitate a little bit more because of these interest rates, right? So that's when we have to be a little bit creative. We have to be in constant communication with our clients, but there's more opportunities out there. The people that are staying in it, staying active, they are going to be rewarded because buyers are getting a little bit more, they're pushing back a little bit more on these sellers as far as what they're willing to offer and what they're willing to take.
Excellent. And Harvey Freed, you told me this morning that you're seeing a ramp up in your business. You're getting busier. So that must mean that your buyers are having a little bit more success because of all the pre-approval letters you got out there and the expansion of the inventory, right?
Yeah, definitely, Harry. Getting the callbacks that it looks like, and more people are getting excited about home ownership this summer too. There's always there's always a changing industry. Again, the last 2 years were completely different than the previous 28 years. So I think things will always change. And as much as we talk about interest rates being up, well, the new buyers are just getting in the market this spring and summer. They don't know from last year. That was last year. They don't know from 5 years ago, and they don't care. So they're excited. And I still think it's our job to keep that excitement and the positive vibe out there, Andrew. Hopefully, yeah, we definitely still have more buyers than homes, but maybe we'll get luckier on our offers. And again, having that strong approval letter and that great communication, that's definitely what's getting some of these offers accepted.
Yeah, Andrew, I think it's always great to have more buyers than homes on the market, because at least you know you're going to have people that are looking for a home. You're never going to run out of that. It's when it's the opposite. Right now, we're in a supply and demand issue, okay? Lack of supply, high demand, and that's always a good thing. I don't want to see it flip to where all of a sudden we don't have any buyers at all. We have too many homes on the market. A nice balance would be nice, but it never really works out that way systematically. Doing this for close to 35 years are always going to be ups and downs. And 2020 and 2021 with COVID, it was an insane time that never could have been predicted. And now coming out of it, we're seeing, and we're going to jump into the topic in a second after I ask you the question. What's your buyer to seller ratio right now? Are you at 4-to-1, 5-to-1, 6-to-1? I mean, what are you at?
I'd say I'm about 6-to-2.
6-to-2.
Buyer to seller. Yep.
All right. Excellent. Well, that's a very strong ratio. We like that. Let's talk about this, Andrew. You ready?
Yeah.
Having to address the inflation situation out there. It's all over. Milk prices, gas prices, car prices.
Yep.
Every segment of our society is being hit with higher prices. Everything is way up. And of course, the housing market and interest rates are way up.
Yeah.
We're going to touch upon interest rates, but the housing market right now, have you seen the prices start to subside a little bit? And if you have or you haven't, tell us what's going on with some of these contingencies, these requests, these waivers. What are you experiencing, Andrew?
Yeah. I guess being on the list side of it, I've had a few listings lately, and I think it really depends on the price point. I had one that was closer to the 400,000 price point. It only had 3 or 4 offers on that. So, and they weren't crazy over list price. It wasn't anything insane. Whereas I had a listing that was at 235,000 and we had 10 offers on that, and all sorts of crazy things, right? People were waiving inspections. They were offering full appraisal guarantees. So I think it really depends on the price point. But I will say, I think if that same listing maybe 8 to 12 weeks ago, I would have had 30 offers on it, right? Instead of the 10 I had on it. So I think we're seeing less offers because there is more inventory, but it's still, people are still doing some crazy things. It's just not nearly as crazy as it was, like 6 to 12 weeks ago. But I'm on the buy side. I mean, I'm still, if it's not a ridiculous, crazy situation, I'm asking for seller concessions. If we can get it, I'll try for my buyer. Am I always getting it? No, but it's worth a shot, right? Whereas again, 6 months ago, seller concessions, what's that? Don't know what the word is, so.
Yeah. Hey, Andrew, I think that's a great point that you bring up. No matter what market it is, whether it's a buyer's market, seller's market, the client that you're working for at that time, you're still going to go ahead. If you've got a buyer, you're still going to ask for certain things that the seller's going to provide or could provide, because what's the worst case scenario? What? They say no?
They say no, exactly. I always say it's worth an ask. If the listing agent wants to laugh at me, that's fine, but it's worth an ask. I did it last night, and I was still able to get a little bit of seller concessions for my buyer last night, even on a condo. So it just depends, but yeah.
If you don't ask, you don't get. Becky Alley, what are you seeing from your buyers? Are they asking for sellers concessions? Are they getting it in your market? What are you seeing right now?
Yeah, it's situational, but I do have probably a good 3 transactions that have seller concessions, because this is a time where we're trial and we're wanting to get offers accepted. Like you said, if you don't ask, the answer is no, right? If you're not asking, the answer is going to be no. So I think my internet's just got all crazy. So anyway, so like I is some offers.
Yeah, I'm losing her.
All right, Harvey, I'm going to go to you for a second. Andrew, you can hear me, correct? And Harvey, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Roberto's going to work on Becky's technical difficulties. So there are thoughts on this, Harvey Freed. I read an opinion piece, and by no means is it the law of the land. It's just an opinion by somebody that basically they said everything needed a reset. Things were out of control. The stock market was out of control. The housing market was going too high. Interest rates were way too low. Everything needed a reset.
I don't know about all that, Harry. You know, the world is too round, and you know, there's the flat earthers out there. I don't think everything needs a reset. However, we always talked about a healthy, balanced marketplace, especially in real estate. So, yeah, a more balanced market is what we're looking for. If somehow we could drop a couple thousand single-family 1,200 square ranches in Southeast Michigan, that would help balance out the market. So, you know, I think that it's just the markets are going to go up and down. Time will tell where this goes. We just got out of a pandemic. I still think we're finding our way out of this pandemic. And of course, there's this war thing going on. We don't feel it here, but if you're in the Ukraine, you feel it. And it's scary also for some countries over there that border Russia. So I think there's those geopolitical events that are still happening that are affecting our local economies. But here on the good side, again, Harry, I brought up some information. Is the affordability challenge really bumping into some first-time home buyers? Maybe. And that's what I wanted to actually reach back out to Andrew and ask him, you know, were there some pre-approved buyers that, you know, you told them they got to go 250, 260? Because, boy, you talk about that wheelhouse of purchase price, 225 to 240. Andrew, there are so many buyers in that category.
Yeah, tons right now. Yep.
So what I'm thinking, Harvey, is that from what I heard you say, and I'm going to interpret it this way, the world is round and everything comes around. So there has to be a reset. The Dow was at 37,000. It's now at 33,000, 32,000. Some people think it could be another correct at another 10%, which would take it down to, 29 to 30,000. So I think we are in for a reset. What goes up must come down, and then it goes back up again. So, there's never going to be a perfect balance. So a reset, it's just a matter for Andrew and all the realtors out there and all the lenders out there to try to achieve some kind of normalcy. And what is normal is you cannot continue, Andrew. This was the 11th year of a seller's market. Mm-hmm. It's going to have to shift. It's going to have to reset somewhere. Mm-hmm. And I think that by the end of this year, and this is my prediction, on June 1st, rates are going to continue to go up throughout 2022. Inflation is going to continue to run rampant. Prices are going to continue to be high. Of course, first-time home buyers are going to be affected. That's a given. Rates are up almost 3 percentage points from January 1st. Mm-hmm. So Andrew, what I'm seeing in a correction is it's going to get more normal out there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm telling you, a lot of my clients, I'm hearing it every day. Is still the time now, the time to buy? Should I be buying? Should I be waiting? And I keep saying, hey, look at what has just happened in the last 6 months, right? They were at 3%. Now rates are closer to 6%, right? They're just going to keep going up. And there's all the predictions and all the models that we're seeing out there. They're going to be closer to 7 by 2023, right? So it's like, just buy now while you can. If this is the house that you love, and if we can get this house, let's do it before 8 more months from now, you can't afford it. I mean, it's just that simple, right?
I agree. And Becky, what do we say? Don't wait, right? Don't wait.
Yeah, a lot of this, what people have to understand is the rate increase was something that was supposed to already take place in 2020, right? Then COVID happened and everything had to get flipped opposite. So it's a lot happening in a little bit of time, because this was supposed to be a gradual increase from 2020 to 2022. Well, now they're just jamming it all right now. here we
Right.
go. They're going for the gusto because they had to make some kind of correction. But the reality is the same people that are going to say, I'm going to wait, are still the same people that said they're going to wait when rates were 2.875 on a 30-year fix, right?
Yeah.
And then they waited till they're in the threes, and then they waited to the fours, and now they're in the fives. They're like, crap, I got to do something, right? The same people that are going to hesitate are the same people that always are going to hesitate. And the ones that are active in, putting the nose to the grindstone, they're the ones that are going to see success with someone like Andrew out there hustling the streets, getting their offers accepted, making them phone calls to the sellers, the buyer's agent, because right now communication is everything. And we want to close everything in a timely manner, but sometimes things happen. And right now is when professionalism shines through. When you reach across that aisle, you just have honest conversations, because no one wants to walk away from a transaction, right? Everyone wants them to close. So regardless, we're going to hustle it out. We're going to do it. And you're right. The rates are definitely we're going to see them in the sevens, and we're not going to lose buyers, but that price point for sure is going to change. And you're already seeing hesitation in those $400,000 price point, like Andrew was pointing out earlier, right? 3 offers to 10 offers in the 200.
So you're going to get that, Becky. And Becky, that is a wonderful point. And Andrew kind of solidified it. It doesn't matter what rates are going to go to, because people need a place to live. Listen, you guys don't want to hear about the 18% interest rates in 1982. You don't want to hear about that.
Yeah, don't get Grandma Allie started. Okay?
Yeah, right. Grandma Allie told us, hey, 8%, that's a bargain. Okay, we know that. We do know that. We love her and we thank her for that, is the perspective that we have to have. And Andrew, it's not going to matter because people need a place to live, right?
Exactly. Harry, I was just going to say that I was actually talking with my grandma. I had lunch with my grandma 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about how when they bought their maybe their second or third house back in the 70s or 80s, their interest rate was in the 14 to 15%. And they thought that was good at the time. That's just where interest rates were at. That's what you had to do to get a home. Because again, you're renting or then you're buying something, you have to have somewhere to live, right? And I was explaining this I heard this from a mentor the other day, and I was explaining this to a client where it's like, I think people have been so freaked out, whereas interest rates have been at the 3 to 4% price point for the past year and a half to 2 years, right? That is so historically low, and we've never seen interest rates at 3 to 4% ever, right? Whereas in the history of the economy, 6 to 8% really that's a balanced housing market. We really should see the interest rates at that point. And it's just, I think people were freaking out, them going up, where it's like, no, this is normal. This is okay. You just were getting a really great bargain beforehand.
So, Andrew, I love that perspective, and I love that take. And what I want to do, and Becky, maybe you can arrange this with Andrew. I want a round table with Andrew's grandmother, your grandmother, Andrew, Becky, and me. And I want to go ahead and put that out there, because people need to hear this. What are you waiting for in talking about buying a house? What are you waiting for on refinancing your house? Those who wait lose. Those procrastinators out there, they always lose. So you guys got to arrange. We'll have the roundtable discussion. We'll get cameras in there. I want Andrew's grandma, Becky's grandma. I want everybody there, and I want them. And we're going to have just nothing scripted, no holds barred, and we're just going to talk. Okay. And I want to hear, and basically, we're going to listen to what they have to say.
Yeah, I think that would be a great conversation to listen, to be a fly on the wall for anyone to hear, because it's all about perception. And I think they're the greatest generation that's ever been around. I mean, 2 world wars, Great Depression. I mean, they've seen it all.
Right. This is nothing. People don't get it. Well, Harvey Freed, so we'll leave everybody with that. Becky and Andrew will get the grandma. We're going to have the grandma round table. It'll be phenomenal. But Harvey, let's get to something pretty serious, okay? that Harvey, you like to discuss this. The appraisal process. If there's anybody that despises every appraiser of every process, every question, it's Harvey Freed.
I don't
know.
Harvey.
Harvey, I got a question for you.
If you're done with your casting call to the nursing homes around town, I think.
I hope Andrew's grandma and Becky's grandma didn't hear you just say that, because I'll bring it back in. It's okay. Harvey, just like in baseball, they want to move away from umpires. They want to have robo umpires calling balls and strikes behind home plate. I don't know that I like it. I don't know that I don't like it. But how about the appraisal process, Harvey? Can it get better and more automated where they're going to use algorithms? They're going to use information from municipalities, cities, Zillow. I mean, Harvey, I got to tell you something. How do you prevent fraud if they're not going to have appraisers going houses anymore? You tell me, and you don't like appraisers. So what do you see?
I actually do like appraisers a little bit. I have a couple appraiser friends, but they're not that close. But yeah, Harry, you need to have a set of eyes in there. Just like I think our industry was getting scary as the bigger box lenders with unqualified staff are trying to dummy down the buyer. We're doing the opposite. We're trying to educate them, prepare them, get them hooked up with great real estate agents like Andrew and the Good Company and teams like that. That's the important stuff. The unimportant stuff is everything else. And again, at the end of the day, it's the quality of the house. We talked about it a little bit. Andrew, of course, the average age of a house in Michigan is like over 50 years old. The quality of the home, the cost to buy these homes, and then these price ranges, that 225 price range, you're going to need 10 to 15,000 extra for that appraisal guarantee to be competitive. And just learning all of those things and how different it is, as Andrew said, in a $400,000 marketplace. Building the team with the knowledge, the podcast that we bring you, the Hardcore Mortgage Show we bring you every Saturday morning. These are the things that people got to get really hooked up with. And I think it'll make the process fun and exciting. Whether the interest rate's 7 or 8% or 5%, people are buying houses. And we know that because we've done this for 30 years. So I hope people just, again, get hooked up with some positivity. Talk to the grandmothers out there that can tell you the days of the interest rates being 12 to 18%.
All right, so Andrew, reeling it back into the appraisal question.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, getting back to the appraisal question goes something like this for me. I've had many calls over the last few weeks about realtors saying to me that they never got a call from an appraiser. How did the appraiser even have access to the property? I've had a for sale by owner asking me, did the appraiser come out? All those kind of things. To me, I want boots on the ground, but that's because I'm old. All right. I want somebody turning that doorknob, going in, taking pictures, making sure a ceiling's a ceiling, a wall's a wall, and a floor's a floor. That's how I feel about it, Andrew. What do you think?
Harry, I absolutely agree. I'll be honest, I've only been in the industry for about 3 years now. And that's actually something that I'll tell buyers when they do come to me with one of those pre-approval letters from, say, a big box lender. And I know that appraisal is just going to be a desktop appraisal, and they're not even going to put boots on the ground in that house and say, hey, we can use that. I can't force you one way or the other. But if we go work with a lender, say like Becky Alley at Capital Mortgage, I know her appraisers will actually be in the home and they're physically going to be able to see what's going on inside the space, right? That's it's a huge difference. And I think that's actually where you're going to actually see a better, great appraisal happen. Yeah,
I love it. Becky, what are your thoughts on that?
I feel like there needs to be, like you can have the best of both worlds, right? Like we'll get the appraisal waivers and we'll present that and you can say, hey, an appraisal waiver is where you don't need to actually have someone physically go out to the house, right? But that is at the buyer's discretion. But there are some situations where if someone is waiving a private home inspection, that appraisal is their first time to really get in there and look at the home. And when you're buying the home and there's chipping paint or there's mold in the basement, that might be your only opportunity to identify a true health and safety concern that's going to be for you and your family. And if you're spread so thin just to get those appraisal guarantees in there, well, after you own this house, guess what? You just got hit with another $10,000, $15,000 bomb because the foundation is crumbling because there's water in the crawl space. I'm saying that because literally this is happening on a transaction right now, where now it's a $15,000 repair cost that the buyer is agreeing to take on, which is good for them, but they didn't know about it because they waived the property inspection and the appraiser is the one that identified it. So these situations are going to happen if you remove the person and the human element, right? So in our business, there needs to be a person-to-person contact. Even if you're waiving an appraisal and there's no one going out to the house physically, you need to also have professionals in place on both sides of the transaction with the real estate agents like Andrew Hannigan, lenders like ourselves, whoever you're using, they have to be intelligent, professional, and they need to be able to communicate and get everyone through these kinds of things. Because if someone doesn't have the experience, they're not going to know how to navigate that.
Yeah, this is the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast. Today is Wednesday, June 1st, 2022, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, Equal Housing Lender. 2289 is our NMLS number. And we have Andrew Hannigan Mueller from Good Company Realty, Jim Schaefer, team in Royal Oak. He's been in the business for 3 years. He is very smart. He is very active, and he knows how to present properly to his buyers and his sellers. There are certain things you want to waive. There are certain things you got to make sure that your buyer and your seller are protected in the transaction. And Andrew, it goes something like this for us. We want to make sure that we're giving the best consumer advocacy advice out there. It's just what we do. And sometimes I might not be the best mortgage guy in the world because I'm not going to put somebody in a mortgage program that is not best for them. I don't need a loan that bad that I've got to go ahead and talk somebody into something that I know down the road is not good for them. So explain to me that when you're taking out people and they see a house that they might like, but you say, you know what, this house doesn't have good bones. You've had that conversation with people.
Every day. I'll be out showing a house, and I always say to a buyer, let me show you how I show a house. And we can walk in, it might have quartz countertops, and it might be a completely flipped brand new kitchen, and everything's nice. We get in the basement, there's puddling in the corner, there's a cracked foundation, there's a giant horizontal crack, and it has an odd smell. Let's get the heck out of there. It's just called lipstick on a pig, and why are we wasting our time, right? There's no reason, like, sure, the kitchen's beautiful, but like also what's behind those walls. And if there's a cracked foundation, sure, don't get me wrong. Like, I've had a client buy a house with a cracked foundation, and it can be repaired, but for a first-time home buyer, it's generally costs are pretty high. And again, let's not get yourself into a money pit, I always say.
I like that. We like the honesty. We like the advocacy that you show and the passion that you show for buyers and sellers. Last word time, ladies and gentlemen. Becky Ellie, last word from you is?
I wanted to actually piggyback on what Andrew just said. I love the fact that he's here when he's out with his clients. He's not showing you what's right with the property. He's going to show you what's wrong with the property. He's going to point out those little details that you might oversee because you're so excited. You're emotionally invested. You got beat out on a couple houses and you just want to throw a rock and see where it lands. So that's when the professionalism and who you're working with, that alignment of your team matters, because they are the ones that are going to be finger guns out here with there's a crack, there's water. And that's what you need. Someone with an outside perspective showing you those things. So definitely hook up with Andrew Hannigan. He is top notch, best in the biz, Good Company Realty, all of them. They're just really, really great. And you're going to see us this Saturday at the Ferndale Pride. I'm excited to be co-sponsoring a booth with them, and it's going to be a really good time out there.
Excellent. We'll see everybody out there. Mr. Harvey Free, last words from the day.
Yeah, I love that Andrew actually brought up something unique about showing homes in today's marketplace. Yeah, could you imagine a listing agent allows their seller to allow people in the house with evidence of water in the basement, evidence of some bad things in the house, maybe not even disclosing them on a proper seller's disclosure. Again, just giving you more information from Andrew, who's been selling real estate for a number of years now, 3-4 years now, and our perspective on it, how the knowledge is so key to making those great decisions and make those great decisions for your family for all the right reasons, not the wrong reasons, and have fun owning a house. We like to keep it really exciting. Home ownership's alive and kicking, and we hope to see you calling Capital Mortgage for your approval letter.
Yeah, but we want to thank Andrew Hannigan Mueller from Good Company Realty, Jim Schaefer, team in Royal Oak, Michigan, for being on the podcast today, June 1st. For Roberto Beauchene, our producer and director, who's in the booth right now. For Harvey Freed, for Becky Alley, I'm Harry Glantz. Remember, June 1st is the day that I proclaim you're going to see interest rates continue to rise. But that doesn't matter. You want to know why? Because you always need a place to live. Listen to the grandmas. Andrew's grandmother, Becky's grandmother. Listen, 6-7% is nothing compared to 14-18%. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Harry. Thank you, guys.